But seriously, did you hit the like button twice? If you didn't hit the like button twice, well, I don't know what you're doing with your life. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Speak the Truth podcast. I'm your host, Matt Tardio, and today's episode is being sponsored by Upwork. Now, if you own a small business and you are looking at scaling up, there comes a crucial time in your life where you just got to figure out when you're going to do it. And I'm going to be honest, as somebody that's kind of worn that hat in the past, ran a larger business, been on the board of a nonprofit organization, one of those things, it's just like, man, when and where do you actually start moving that way? And who is it that you hire to help you out with that? Well, there's a good news. To get started, you don't even have to hire anybody. You can actually start signing yourself up for free and start browsing freelance people that are within the industry, people from the IT, web development, AI, design, admin support, marketing, and a heck of a lot more. And the great news is the company that does it has over 2 decades of experience inside of that space. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't yet, you need to get your butts on over to Upwork and go check them out. Posting a job on Upwork is easy with no cost to join, and you can register, browse those freelance profiles, and get help drafting a job post or even book a consultation. Visit Upwork.com right now and post your job for free. That's Upwork.com to post your job for free and connect with top talent ready to help your business grow. That's UPWORK.com. Upwork.com. Ladies and gentlemen, hope you guys are ready for a good show tonight. We've got a heck of a lot of stuff coming at you. I know you guys didn't even get to see that video in full time, but let me go. Stop. You guys are going to want to see this before we even get in the main program. Let's just play that at full speed for you. Ready? Go. Now, what ended up happening in that video? Well, IDF went over and ended up striking a weapons facility, allegedly, or a rocket launch site, which is pretty freaking wild that they still have got all of those other things. They're just rolling through the hills. Matt, we don't believe that shite. Well, you know what I don't believe? I don't believe you, East Seed people 44. Don't worry about it. We've got a great show ready for you guys, lined up and ready to go. And BB finally came out with what we've kind of all expected this entire time. And if you guys have been following the show for a while, I've told you guys that I do believe, and from the beginning, I've stated this, that the way forward is going to be Israel going in. I told you this is going to be a decade-long deal, that you're going to have a couple years of active combat, right? A couple years, you're going to have some active combat, and then it's going to slow down. You're going to start getting into some pockets of insurgency, and we're about to see, number one, we're hearing that these terrorists inside of Gaza are now operating in some smaller cells, and then they're going to start, getting a little bit smaller and more dismantled. You're going to start having some power struggles and things like that taking place. But the big news that Bibi came out with was he said they are going to eliminate Hamas, and they're going to put in a non-radicalized government. So all of those things I talked to you guys about before, when we started going over the protests, when we started going over like who's where and what they're doing, that's exactly what I meant, right? Like those things were in motion, and the stage is set and the grounds are set. And when you guys start seeing some of the images and stuff like that I was able to get out at Gaza today, it's actually going to start making a heck of a lot more sense to you. And I mean, it's going to make some very good sense to you on why I'm stating that. Right. And I want you guys to understand that this is coming to you out of the best and in the most goodness place of my heart. And before we get into BB, his statements, before we get into what Trump said about like Ukraine giving up terrain, God, it totally freaking blew my mind today on that one as well. I honestly didn't see that happening, and it sounds like that might actually be happening. Although what I'm being told from people on the ground is nothing's changed. So we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But first, this.
Is Hamas the right group to lead her and her family?
برأيك أنت حماس هي المجموعة المناسبة أن هي تكون مسيطرة على القطاع لدول المستقبل؟
I know you don't speak squiggly. Wait a second.
They have destroyed us. They have killed my father. They have killed my brother. They have destroyed the people of Gaza.
How big is her family?
أنت عندك قد إيه؟ كم أخ وكم أخت؟
ولدين وواحد استشهد قبل 4 أيام وثلاث بنات.
So she had 2 brothers. One died 4 days ago, and 4 girls.
Is Hamas the right?
So Hamas killed him, is what she's bringing up, right? And no, even this young woman that's being interviewed over here, which is amazing to me as well, because this ends up coming out by, I don't know if you guys saw this or not, Fox News is on the ground over talking to Palestinians. That's the first, I think, that this might be one of the first interviews that I've actually seen of people talking to Palestinians, which is another step up, right? Because I am continuing to talk to you guys and let you know that the more we start seeing like that, the more it is. No, Jake, I will not. I will not, Jacob. I see your question down there. Nope, not going to do it. If you know, you know, my friend. If you know, you know. VP Vance, check this out. France, Germany. I want to say it was France, Germany, UK. No, not Germany. UK, Canada. All of these people talking about recognizing a Palestinian state. United States of America, not so much.
Big issues in the Middle East. What do you make of the UK's decision to recognise the state of Palestine? Do you think that's a bad decision?
Well, it's one of the things that we're going to talk about. Obviously, the United Kingdom is going to make its decision. We have no plans to recognize a Palestinian state. I don't know what it would mean to really recognize a Palestinian state, given the lack of a functional government there. You know, what the president has made very clear is our two...
Oh, snap. That might have been the most based statement on this entire, conflict from the administration. That one right there. I don't know if you guys heard that, but let's hear that again.
No plans to recognize a Palestinian state. I don't know what it would mean to really recognize a Palestinian state, given the lack of a functional government there. You know what?
Literally no functioning government. So who is it that we're recognizing? And again, probably the most based freaking thing that I have heard out of this administration when it comes down. Now, they said a lot of things, right? Like Trump has came out and he's like, yeah, we're not recognizing Hamas. Like, no, they need to go. They need to die. But JD just came out and said, yeah, we're not recognizing them because they don't have one. That's pretty clear.
The president has made very clear is our two goals are very simple right now vis-a-vis the situation in Israel and Gaza. Number one, we want to make it so that Hamas cannot attack innocent Israeli civilians ever again, and we think that has to come through the eradication of Hamas. Second, the president has been very moved by these terrible images of the humanitarian crisis in Gaza, so we want to make sure that we solve that problem. I think all of us can work on how to solve that problem. Obviously, it's not an easy problem to solve, or it would have already been dealt with. But we share, I think, that focus and that goal. We may have some disagreements about how exactly to accomplish that goal, and we'll talk about that.
Big issues in the
And then I just want to point out what probably most of you guys haven't. This might be over here one of the most homosexual pictures I think I've ever seen a vice president of the United States put out. But look how happy they are. Look how happy they are, just standing there with their sticks in their hands. I think they're cane pole fishing. I don't know, man. But hey, listen, yes. The president is moved by the humanitarian situation over inside Gaza. That's a fact. That's going on to the point where the man pledged to donate $1 billion, $1 billion over to help out the people over inside Gaza, which is insane. $1 billion. That's a buttload of money, man. Netanyahu. I want you guys to listen to this because Netanyahu came out earlier with a pretty wild interview.
In the southern town of Rafah, near the Sinai Desert in Egypt, and that town has been flattened. And you have been accused of genocide. How do you respond to that?
Well, as Ambassador Huckabee said, if we're practicing genocide, we're surely doing a very bad job of it, because we could have, basically eliminated the entire population of Gaza, but we went the other direction. We did something that no army in history ever did. We're supplying humanitarian food to the enemy's population because we distinguish between combatants and non-combatants. We put in 2 million tons of food. I mean, if we wanted to commit genocide, we wouldn't give 2 million tons of food to the population. And also, the reason you see the flattened buildings is because Hamas booby traps every single building. So when we come in, we first have the population moved, even though Hamas tries to keep them in the combat zones. But after they move, and we start to move into the neighborhoods that are now populated only by terrorists, they ignite these booby traps. So what we do is we put in an APC, an armored personnel carrier, with a lot of explosives, detonate it. It sets off all the booby traps, and the buildings begin to collapse as a result of that. They're empty buildings. They're not populated buildings.
Now, probably one of the interesting things, honestly, that he ended up stating about this, and I actually, number one, I can testify not against Hamas, but against other Islamic jihadic organizations, that I have seen them forbid people to move and purposefully put them in the line of fire before a firefight breaks out. Because you got to remember, when you're fighting a terrorist organization, oftentimes they are the ones that are dictating the time and place of the battle. Often. because you have soldiers that are moving through this area, and if they choose, they can pick up a weapon. If they don't choose to pick up the weapon and they choose to move on, they can do that. And oftentimes what they'll end up doing is they'll end up taking these families and they'll hold them in position and they'll wait and they'll kill them if they try to get away. They'll kill the whole dang family if they try to get away. But what I heard, I think it was 2 nights ago, testimony from somebody talking, and it was Daron Kedar, the guy we had on this program days ago with Chuck Holton, who many of you guys know as well. And Daron testified, like, just in a public space, like, this type of stuff pisses me off, because what he experienced at one point in time when they were on a clearing operation and the civilians were out of the area was coming across a family that had women and children inside of this building, and that he ends up directing his team to pull security on this family all night long so they don't get killed. While they were there in the area, they're guarding them to make sure Hamas doesn't kill them. Now, I want you to wrap your freaking head around that picture. You got an Israeli SF team on the ground that is guarding a family that got thrown into the mix and got told to stand by and wait for it to happen. Tell you the other thing that BB ended up coming out with. Tell you the other thing he ended up coming out with, which is very, very important. I think I actually put the wrong clip in here. Throughout that entire interview, BB ended up stating that they were going to go in. It's a pretty long interview. We're not going to do the entire thing. That they are going to go in, clear it out, and then they're going to install a government. And I told you, 10 years. 10 years was something that he had originally stated. I don't know if it was a slip of the tongue, but he said 10 years they were going to be there. And he's never said that figure again. And in that interview, he said that they're going to clear them out and establish a new government. Chris Ferguson, is Lithuania requesting NATO assistance on your radar? No, it is not. No, it is not. Is that a fact right now? Like Russia's invading, they're requesting NATO assistance, or does this have to do with other things? Because requesting NATO assistance is one thing, you know what I mean, but it goes in. I didn't see anything on that. So if somebody's saying that right now, I'd like a good source for that, if that's real. I was unaware of that at this time, but I've also been very balls deep in another situation that I've been handling, to be perfectly honest with you. Netanyahu. So Netanyahu came out after he made that statement. Number one, this is Hamas's statement. This one comes from The Guardian. The decision to occupy Gaza confirms the criminal Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his Nazi government do not care about the fate of their captives. Why is that a statement? I didn't point this out. Somebody else pointed this out to me. Because they've been saying that they've been occupying the entire time. They've been saying that they've been an occupying force. They've been saying that the reason they launched the entire attack was because they're occupying. And yet the Hamas statement comes out and says that they are now, the decision to occupy Gaza. And again, wrap your head around the stupidity of that public statement. Their PR guy needs fired, for the love of God. Of all people that needs fired in Hamas, their PR guy needs hired because he just went directly against it. Lynn, if that's on another channel, it very well could be on another channel. That doesn't make it factual. I hate to say that, but I've seen a lot of crap on YouTube. I saw a lot of crap on mainstream media lately, and I'm telling you right now, it's not true. So, just because it's on another channel, here we go. Hamas statement. So, if we get back into it, what BB actually said in response to that is freaking nuts. And again, international policy via Twitter. I don't know if you guys can read that. We're not going to occupy Gaza. We are going to free Gaza from Hamas. We will demilitarize, and a peaceful civilian administration will be established. One that is not the Palestinian Authority, not Hamas, and not any other terrorist organization. This will help free our hostages and ensure Gaza does not pose a threat to Israel in the future. Now, key here on this one, it's not going to be the PA. The PA is not going to be involved, according to Netanyahu, and that thing got put out less than 12 hours ago. Less than 12 hours ago, Bibi Netanyahu lets you know Palestinian Authority is not going to be involved in that. Period. They won't. And so that means that everything we talked about in the past, when I talked to you guys about the different little tribal struggles and all of that crap, all of that stuff's going to be coming up in the very, very near future. And I want you guys to know, too, last month, Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, we talked about it. They delivered on average about 1.2 million meals. Today, they announced that they delivered 1.5 million, north of 1.5 million meals today. North of 1.5 million meals. Operations inside there are, number one, becoming more smooth, and two, starting to actually ramp up. And you compare that to how much has actually been delivered by the World Food Program, and that number is really freaking high. World Food Program sucks. They still suck at doing their job as far as I'm concerned. And somebody apparently has been listening to this channel. Why?
Doctor.
She needs some sugar.
I want to pause this right here. And I hope somebody overseas is listening. The last time I saw something put out like this was a month, maybe, after Israel had invaded, maybe 2 weeks after they had surrounded the freaking Al-Shifa hospital. After they surrounded the Al-Shifa hospital, and they had a kid that Hamas had told to walk towards the Israelis that they tried to kill, or that they wanted the Israelis to kill. And what ended up happening was they ended up treating this kid's feet. It was a really big deal because all that crap had came out. Now, we've got Netanyahu, which there was another statement that he ended up making that was a very well-produced video. Everybody has been complaining that they've been failing at the PR game, and the other side has been whooping them on the PR game because they haven't been showing this type of stuff because they've been busy battling everything else. Now, you have Israel putting these videos out and putting out all of this other stuff. Yeah, if anybody's alleging I'm getting paid by anybody else, you can kiss my freaking white butt. I'm supported by this channel, and I'm supported via my freaking VA benefits in retirement. That's what I get supported by. That's it. I work for what I make. Nobody comes in. Nobody influences what I say. And if you couldn't tell, I pissed off a lot of people the other day in having Mr. Aguilar on the show because I didn't sit there and scream at him in his face and tell him that he was a liar and go over all of that. And then I sat and I gave an honest accountability of what I believed at the time. And so anybody that thinks I'm bought and paid for, better go watch that damn interview. Seriously. If you really, in your mind, think that me, of all people, is bought and paid for, get back over there and watch that interview. Tucker did not pay Matt. Hell no, he don't. I highly suggest you get back there and go watch that. If you think I'm bought and paid for, if you think anybody owns me, you better get over there and go check yourself. Period. I bust my butt, ladies and gentlemen. Bust it hard. Believe it or not, over the last week and a half, I was averaging just a couple hours of sleep a night minus a 1 day off I took. And even on that day off, I wanted to sleep in and I got woken up bright and early for something else. I'm telling you guys, I am devoted to what I do and I make sure I get it done. And I'm doing it for you guys. And I want you guys to have that ability to be able to trust me. You know, 2 weeks ago, I want you guys to hear me out on this. And this is serious and this is real. And I can't tell you how hard it is to be in this space and do what I do and not be influenced by that. I got told basically that I need to make sure that I get, for these news interviews, that I'm getting paid out for doing them and to make sure that I have all of that lined up and for specific things. And this was 2 weeks ago. And you know what's really weird? When I started saying, no, I'm not doing that because I want the ability to sit here in front of you guys and say, nobody pays me. I earn every penny I get and I get going on the news is work for me. But at the same time, nobody's paid me for going on TV. Nobody. I haven't received one red penny from going on TV and giving my opinion. And I'm going to keep it that way for the rest of my God-given life. You know why? Do you know why? Because I want you that listen to me to know that what I'm saying is what I believe. That nobody's buying me off. Period. Nobody. I own me. And it will remain that way. I own me. And if you guys want to support me, then you support me. And I got a feeling you guys are really going to want to support me. You find another guy that's willing to humble himself, eat some crow, and have an honest-to-God conversation, knowing it's going to piss off 90% of his viewer base. You find that guy and you bring him here. I'd love to see that. Instead of feeding into the frickin' echo chamber, you go find that guy, you bring him here. I want to see it. That's refusing to take a dime. Bring him over. I'll freaking make him co-host. I'm over that. No, sir. I am not bought and paid for, and I refuse to pretend like that's even a real thing. Put this up on the screen as well. You guys probably recognize right there. I own me equals freedom. You're dang right, Dallas. Dang right. Peace with war coming in, gifting out 5. And you guys are going to understand. You're going to get it. Trust me. Believe me. Here is a mortar tube. And you guys can see the freaking shadow on that sucker. You can see where it's leaned up. And you can see where it's at. Now, the interesting thing about this particular mortar tube is you see it in like a tiny little grove of trees that's set out there. You do see some footprints and stuff like that going in and out. And again, it's set up right next to this wall on the backside of this street. I haven't seen a lot of tubes left in the open by these guys. Daddy Matt is standing on business. That's right. I believe in me. I wake up every day and get my butt over here to make sure that I'm earning my paycheck. Smokey Sergeant. Those with the most integrity are often hated the most. Stay true, Matt. You're doing fine. Rangers lead the way. Appreciate you, man. All the way, bro. Fox McCloud. Daddy Matt is standing on business. That's right. That's right. Standing. Standing tall. Man. Peace with War coming in, giving out 5. Speak the Truth memberships. Jack Ray coming in, giving out 5. Thumper says, here's a few bucks to keep speaking your mind and the truth. Thanks, man. Chris, yeah, Lithuania deal. I didn't see anything on it. It hasn't popped up on my radar yet. If it is a thing and enforcers reporting it, maybe it's something. I don't know. It ain't here, though. All right. Cletus coming in with 20. He says, I still have my blue cord. Mine's hanging in my closet. I had to retire it, man. I retired it. I retired it. Oh, man. Cletus, by the way, man, I saw your message, man, and it's no offense, man. It was a joke on, you know what, it was a thing. Whatever. 3M Forge. Brother, ignore those haters. Nanner's got your back. I know you guys always have had my back, man. It's crazy. I have sat here, like, listen to the words coming out of my mouth. This is how much I know this channel has my back. This is why I always have love for this channel. I have sat here on this channel and I have literally cried. And I couldn't tell you guys what was going on in my life and the amount of love I saw coming from you guys. I'm not even talking about monetarily. I'm talking about prayers, everything being thrown my way. Like, I know you guys got me. When I needed to raise 20 grand because it was the right thing to do to bring a guy home, who had my back? Y'all don't even realize we raised over like 12 grand that day. Did you hear the words that came out of my mouth? It is insane when I ask you guys to support something, when I say, hey guys, I feel like this is a just cause and I need support. You guys every single time show up. Every time. Every time show up. When I ask you to believe in me, when I ask you to have faith, you're there the next day. And that's a dynamic that you don't get anywhere else. And I don't want to change that, man. 3M Forge, I got you, bro. Brando Black, Matt, I support you and Rob, always coming from a member of 20 months and will continue to do so. Thank you, Brando. Appreciate you, man. Holy cow, man. W Don't Know, coming in, giving out 5. Man, got lost in my mind right there. Chaotic Clyde, as a civilian, I would love to have a beer with you. Chaotic Clyde, I'd love to have a beer with a lot of people. I was back home visiting my family back in Oregon. Ended up inviting them to show up to like tiny little freaking small town racetrack where my brother was at and stood there and talked to one of y'all down in the pits next to my brother's race car. Loved it. Love you guys, man. Airborne Professor, if it's not someone you would go to for advice, their opinion of you should not matter. That's a fact, man. That's also valid. Sean Hughes, Brother Matt, I've been supporting you and Rob since the beginning of the Russia-Ukraine war. Sean Hughes, I can't even tell you how many times I read your name. I wish there was AI that would allow me to take it and like have a compilation of how many times I say your guys' name as we go through this stuff, man. It's freaking insane. It really is. It's nuts, man. Marty, great work. Thank you. Of course, man. Mary coming in, just throwing 5 out there. Throw it out there, man, for love and support. Pick. We all love you. Nanner gang. Yeah, dude, the day we came out with the Nanner thing was also, that was a remarkable day. Insane work. Marty, great work. Thank you. Yeah, of course, man. Like, there's so many, like, just memories that have been made here on this channel, too. And it's absolutely nuts, man. Absolutely insane. All right, guys. All right. I'm going to get off. I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop giving you guys so much praise. I'm going to get back to this. Boom. Mortar tube gone. Now, this is the crazy part to me about this video. I really haven't seen that many mortar tubes sitting in the open. I've analyzed strikes, and so this is now another thing that's kind of weird. All right? This is another weird thing that ends up popping out. So one, we've got Israelis that actually have time that are out there doing like med caps. They're out there actually like providing medicine, and you could tell from that last video that they had like the C-wire and all that crap set up outside, and that they had a designated time and people were coming over and receiving medical treatment. And then in this video, we have mortar tubes left in the open, which I rarely see over there. And the Israelis are dropping bombs on it. That, to me, says that Hamas is losing influence. The fact that people, it's not just the fact that the Israelis have time to go over there and do it. It's that people are walking up to these Israeli sites and getting medical treatment from them and turning around and walking away and not having to worry about getting killed for doing it, or getting their leg cut off, or getting beaten. I mean, maybe they do still have to worry about it, but they're lining up to do it. That says things, guys. Those are the little things that you need to look at. Cat Clyde, I am also saying that because I draw a lot of vets towards me. Yeah, I get that, bro. Fox McCloud, I was going to take my girl out, but Daddy Matt comes first, no homo. I learned what that's called, Fox McCloud, when you donate $5 and say, I was going to take my girl out, but Daddy Matt comes first, no homo. I know what that's called. I got told this from a Jewish, that's called Jewish guilt. That's what you just did. You just Jewish guilt me, my friend. That's exactly what you did. I'm going to figure out a way to get you back. Doc Hook, VA flying coming to the 5. He says, all hosts in North Carolina if you ever come through. Thank you, brother. Appreciate that, man. Thank you. Yeah, you guys are freaking wild. Ricky Booze gifting out 5 Speak the Truth memberships. Man, y'all are freaking on it tonight, man. Y'all are on it tonight, man. All right. So, yeah, that's another first that I ended up seeing coming through there. And I'll tell you something else that's starting to happen as well. This is the second-ish time that I've seen something like this. Hamas has stepped up their like actual propaganda game again. Like the Palestinian people inside of Gaza have I'm a cheap date. Have started propping up their freaking game again. So I ended up seeing the backside of some of these like videos. And what I ended up seeing is in one of these things that they were leaning over a handrail and you got photographers on one side and they're all holding pots and stuff. And they're literally staging for these things. And so they're like bending over like these rails and like holding pots and like acting like they're crying. And it made it to the cover of, I think it was like Time magazine. But a photo got leaked of the actual back of the truck and what they were doing and where the photographer was at, like setting all that crap up. Yeah, you guys see like the laughing thing. I think I might even have a fat man like coming up here in a little bit. I haven't seen this yet. I decided when I came across this that I want to, how do I want to say, live react to this one to you, because you guys know how much I've been covering the HA situation over there recently, even in light of recent events. And this one allegedly is a hit piece-ish, blaming the IDF for food not getting picked up.
This is the first time the ABC has managed to get any access to Gaza with the IDF for the duration of this war. It is, of course, highly controlled, highly choreographed. This is the part of Gaza that Israel wants the world to see, not the destruction beyond.
Highly controlled and highly choreographed. Dude, you're getting taken to the location where humanitarian aid stacked up, and your fat ass is not being allowed, and I hate to say that with your turkey neck and everything else. I'm just going to call you out there, fatty. You're not being allowed to go into Gaza proper because, number one, you look like you would die from heat stroke if the AC in your truck stopped. Number one. Number two, all of the Palestinians would immediately be jealous of the amount of food you ate, and they would die from a broken heart just from seeing your turkey neck. So we're going to start there.
Of course, highly controlled, highly choreographed. This is the part of Gaza that Israel wants the world to see, not the destruction beyond. But it will give a sense as to what Israel is arguing here.
I'm just pointing this out. Pointing it out. This is something I just saw and paused the video. Do you see these trucks that are here in the front? You might not be able to see what I can see. I'll blow it up big. They literally strapped a fence over the windshield of the truck. I promise you this is a blind react. I promise you. They strapped a fence over the front of the truck. And there is trucks lined up with straps down on them, which we can talk about the OCHA video I went over the other day. But they literally put a frickin' fence over there because of the amount of fricking crap that's going on inside there, and this fat guy is complaining that they won't take him in.
About aid being given to the Gazans, being delivered to Gaza.
Oh my God, there's another one. Look at that. Anybody else seen that before in their life? Who races dirt track? They are literally putting wire over the windshields of their trucks to keep the dang windshields from getting broke. They put up cages for all the rocks and all of the crap getting thrown at them. And this guy is pretending like he should be allowed to go in with his turkey neck.
But not necessarily making it elsewhere throughout the strip. You can see some of the supplies here. These are bags of flour, and the bags themselves are starting to deteriorate dramatically. Other things, fava beans, sunflower oil, tin.
The fava beans, and number one, I saw somebody, and I'd be really curious to see if this isn't like a discard lane off to the side. But at the same time, I also saw the same image of it might have been Kogat put it out, that was yelling at the UN the same way I have for not picking up the material and it being left out there to rot and go to waste. And then this guy walks in and he's blaming Israel on doing it, claiming that they need to go in and see everything. Meanwhile, there's trucks lined up with frickin' like Mad Max cages on them.
Bags themselves are starting to deteriorate dramatically. Other things, fava beans, sunflower oil, tinned tomatoes, rolls of toilet paper, toothbrushes also in some of these packs. This is what Israel wants the world to see. It is saying that as the moment that the aid arrives.
This guy. I mean, and maybe I should listen to his information before I make a chin strap, constricting his turkey neck comment as he stands in like the safest place in all of Gaza with his TV vest on. But let's finish.
Arrives in this depot, its responsibility ends. It's claiming that it's up to the UN and other humanitarian agencies to then pick up those supplies and distribute them throughout the strip. And there is no...
It is. It quite literally is their job. That's not a claim That is the World Food Program's job. The World Food Program complained that there wasn't enough. The UN complained that there wasn't enough. That is quite literally their job. That's like me sitting in a doctor. Like, you know what the equivalent of this is? This is like the equivalent of me going into a doctor's office and blaming the receptionist for not having a surgery. Look at this receptionist sitting here. We've got a perfectly good receptionist, and yet I am not getting my tumor surgery. This is ridiculous. I demand this receptionist treat me for cancer immediately.
Denying that there are supplies here. What the issue is, and it's something that the UN and other humanitarian agencies have said for a very long time now, is that it's simply too difficult to do that, or it has been before the Israel Defense Forces put in place these so-called tactical pauses, these secure corridors to...
It's been too difficult before, or it's too difficult now? Pretty sure it's too difficult now and before. And what he failed, come back here, turkey neck. What he failed to state was that the UN last month requested in June and in July is requesting additional security measures. Turkey neck, do you hear me with your British accent? The UN's World Food Program in June said that they stopped delivering food because it was too dangerous and demanded that that happen. They put it in writing. I don't know if your blue TV journalist vest actually allows you to be able to read and actually do investigative journalism, but maybe you ought to check, I don't know, the July 25th report from the UN's World Food Program, or maybe their June 25th or 26th, where they said they stopped doing it because of security concerns. And on the July 25th, when they said they were getting sniped, maybe, just maybe, turkey neck, you could do your job.
Pauses, these secure corridors to allow these convoys to move in and out. Let's take the World Food Program, for example. It says that in the week leading up to those aid restrictions being partially relaxed, it made more than...
Week leading up. This guy is quoting shit from what, 4 months ago? It's present day, turkey neck. What's the World Food Program's current numbers?
130 requests to pick up supplies and then take them through the strip, but only...
Now, before he finishes this statement about what they were and were not allowed to pick up, the World Food Program just complained on July 25th that they only had 60 drivers. 60. I'll say that again, and you can read between the lines. July 25th, the World Food Program complained that they only had 60 drivers that they could properly vet. So please, tell me again how many requests they had?
It made more than 130.
More than double the amount of drivers. They made more requests to pick up food than they actually had drivers. You know what that's called? That's called knowing your facts, fat body. Gomer Pyle had a child, and he's wearing a blue vest in Gaza. Carly Murphy. I've been on the receiving end of ABC's propaganda lies, and they're effed up. Crazy bias to the left. Right. Oh, my goodness, man. Oh, my goodness. Cletus, welcome to becoming a true supporter. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It was the reference to Full Metal Jacket, wasn't it? Is that what it was? Fox McCloud, you should find a charity in Gaza that we can donate, approved by and researched by you. I'll actually look into that. Smokey Sergeant, those bags are deteriorating. That aid has been sitting for a long time. You are correct, which is something that I've been complaining about since all the way back in November of 23, saying that these things are problems. Israel's not completely absolved of all of this crap. I'd mentioned this a long time ago. But the UN, number one, the fact is that it's changed. and you have a bunch of HA that's stacked up on that side, and instead of the fat body going, hey, Israel's got all this stuff stacked up now over here, and it's ready to go, and the UN's not picking up their slack. By the way, they only got 60 truck drivers according to their July 25th report, and they put in 130 requests. Who's going to drive those trucks, Gomer?
Requests to pick up supplies and then take them through the strip, but only half, just over half, were approved by the IDF. When they were
only half. Again, blind react. How many drivers did they have?
Approved, those convoys had to wait for hours and hours to actually get access to those sites. We're talking.
They had to wait hours and hours. And what did we hear from OCHA just a couple days ago? We didn't have time to strap everything down. They forced us through. It was going so crazy, we didn't even have time to put everything down. So here we have Gomer Pyle that doesn't know they only have 60 truck drivers. No wonder only about half got approved, probably because they hired 5 more local nationals that are going to alert Hamas and their buddies and the local population to steal their crap and have another 92% of their aid looted this month. But now he's saying that they had to wait up to 48 hours when OCHA said that they were just getting shoved along like freaking rats in an assembly line. I just want you to stare at his face for 1 minute before I eviscerate his narrative some more.
Up to 48 hours when they were waiting to pick up these supplies. And remember, Gaza is not a very big place. We are talking about an area that from north to south is only around.
And remember, Gaza is not a very big place. Hey, buddy, why didn't you put a star on the map where the aid is getting picked up at? And why don't you also put where the combat operations are taking place at? That end up making it a giant issue when it comes to delivering humanitarian aid, Gomer.
50 kilometers or so. Yes, it isn't a war, so that of course means things take a lot longer to happen, but those distances are not that vast. And to be...
Hey, Gomer Pyle, I didn't even have to hear the words coming out of your mouth when you put that crap up on the screen. Didn't even have to hear it. I knew where you were going. Just be happy you're standing in a pool of food right now. Your turkey neck is probably sweating freaking meat sweats.
From north to south is only around 50 kilometers or so. Yes, it isn't a war, so that of course means things take a lot longer to happen, but those distances are not that vast, and to be waiting that long, that is what the UN and other aid agencies say is the real problem here.
No, the UN stating that as they're failing? Did you read their reports, Gomer? Or did you listen to a 30-second clip that you found? I read the reports. I checked the numbers. They're failing.
They have wanted to pick up this aid as it's come in, but it has been unsafe and too dangerous to do so, and that the IDF has wrapped this in bureaucratic red tape.
Okay, so they've wanted to come and pick it up, but it's been unsafe to do so. In moments before that, Turkey Neck just tried to blame this on Israel by stating that they put in 120 requests, but a couple more than 60 got approved, while they only have about 60 drivers as of 2 weeks ago. And then he takes the excuse from the UN that it's too dangerous, that they don't want to deliver food. And this Turkey Neck frickin' like ginger-looking British guy is going to go back in a bar and be like, I was in Gaza, and hope everybody buys him a beer. What the hell, man?
Type.
Oh, thank God it's over. Oh, my God. That is the worst. That is the worst. Sir thinks a lot. He looks like the AI of a child there. Yes, he does. Cletus, true supporter. Carly Murphy. I've been on the receiving end of ABC's propaganda lines. They're all effed up. Yes, sir. You are absolutely correct. I don't see anything else. Bobby Hill making a big comeback. Yes, sir. Airborne Professor, dude, you're on fire tonight, dishing out the airborne truth. Yeah, you dang right I am. Sir, thanks a lot. Hey, Matt, how do you feel about Trump's plan to build an N reactor on the moon by 2030? Sounds like a permanent sentiment. I didn't think that was a real thing. I thought that was more of like a joke. But I did hear something, kid you not, Like, space race is back on, apparently. I mean, he started the Space Force. But I did hear that China found a way to manufacture, like, take moon dust and manufacture water or some crap up there. Something weird. I don't remember. It just sounds so weird to me. Like, it wouldn't surprise me. But what are we going to put a nuclear reactor up there for? Like, seriously? Jack Ray, is that a risk area? I saw other reporters there without protective gear. Ooh, good question. Well, insurance companies may vary, Jack. Insurance companies may vary. They might have them, put that stuff on for what it is. Volk saying Matt using the angry cops tactic and calling him fat boy. I called him fat body. All right. I didn't call him fat boy. I called him fat body. That's just the truth though. And I mean, that's not an angry cops tactic. I mean, do I need to display this turkey neck to you again? Like, really? 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 Dude, I've never seen the chin straps getting covered on the side of somebody's face by their cheeks. That man has jowls. Jowls. He doesn't have a beard. He clearly doesn't know his facts. And he has jowls that cover his chin strap. Calling him fat is stating a fact. Period. Oh my goodness, man. Carl Murphy, apology from all Aussies for the ABC's BS. No. You own that one, man. You own that. You guys, you own that. Kyle, these guys need a course in common sense. Thank you, Matt, for the information that you provide to us. You're welcome. And I delivered it to you in a comical way. Bobby Hill making the comeback. Yeah, that's right. So I hope you guys got some facts out of this Bobby Hill guy. Like me putting it out there and just grinding that home. Clip that, share it, because I think it's hilarious. Now, as I sat there trashing on Bobby Hill over there, Mr. Turkey Neck himself, I want you guys to take a look at this. This is a GHF distribution site. All right. Palestinians in Gaza, extremely happy about Trump. I want you to look at this. I actually almost made this the thumbnail.
I love you, Trump.
I'm pretty sure this guy said, I love you, Obama, not Trump. Let's watch this guy's mouth. I think he gave praise to Obama.
I love you, Trump. I love you. كل العالم.
Dudes are happy, man. It would have made for a great thumbnail. And I thought about putting it on there, to be perfectly honest with you. I really did. And like, when I get so passionate about this crap, like, that's a good reason why. Seriously. It's a very, very good reason why. That doesn't belong on this. That same food and stuff that guy's complaining about with the boxes opened up. Number one, understand that you have boxes covered in saran wrap out there. These are hygiene kits that they ended up putting out. I'm pretty sure I see toilet paper in there. I see freaking, what do they call it? Like the pads for the women, menstruation, female hygienic products are in there. There's everything, man. And what BB say? 2 million tons of food? That's 1 ton of food. That's 2,000 pounds of food per person. 2,000 pounds of food per person. Mad Army Vet coming in, gifting out $1.99. I don't know if I go through a ton of food a year. A ton of food per person. I'm just curious for the life of me. I'm just going to ask AI. It's not very good with stuff, but on average, a person in the holy crap. On average, a person in the United States eats about 1,996 to 2,000 pounds of food per year. Roughly 5.4 pounds a day. So by Bibi's own estimates, when he says over 2 million pounds of, or 2 million tons of food, they have provided 2,000 pounds a year roughly per Palestinian, because you got to remember 100,000 ended up leaving the country. 100,000 ended up leaving the country and going into Cairo. So yeah, it's about a ton of food per person a year. Boom. Dead. There goes another like jihadist leader inside Lebanon, just FYI, throwing that out there. Lebanon's finally cracking down on Hezbollah, going out. They called on to disarm not that long ago. People started rioting in the streets. Here's your people rioting. Here's the military going in. And on top of all of that, ladies and gentlemen, you also have this statement that ended up coming out today that almost blew my mind. Now that we're out of Gaza, we're going to go and we're going to talk about Ukraine for a sec.
Well, you're looking at territory that's been fought over for 3.5 years with, a lot of Russians have died, a lot of Ukrainians have died. So we're looking at that, but we're actually looking to get some back and some swapping. It's complicated. It's actually nothing easy. It's very complicated, but we're going to get some back. We're going to get some switched. There'll be some swapping of territories to the betterment of both.
Now, if I went all the way back in time, number one, I said Ukraine's not going to give up territory. And it's true. And I heard other statements from him, like about Bibi needing to, or not Bibi, I'm sorry. Zelensky has to go and strike a deal and get it so that he has the authority to do that. So he's got to go up to the parliament. He's got to change stuff. He's got to make it so he has the authority to do it. So it ain't happening anytime soon. But that actually lends credence to the report I read yesterday about this, which was the deal that the United States gave towards Russia, which they said was actually kind of acceptable, would have to have involved giving up terrain on both sides. And it makes me wonder what that terrain is that ends up giving up and why all of a sudden Zelensky's going to be okay with that. I don't know what it is. I don't know how he did it, if that's the case. And I don't even know if Zelensky's going to go for it. But I got a feeling I do need sleep, Moses. Thank you. And I love you guys so much. I'm not going anywhere. Carly Murphy, so many people don't believe what Hamas did, and it's driving me insane. Could Israel release the footage to counter this propaganda? Israel, what Hamas did on October 7th? I believe the website, I need to take it off the screen. I want to type it in. Nope, that's not it. I ought to buy that name, though. There is a ton of it. And it does exist. Give me a sec. There is an entire website that's devoted to it. I can't remember if it's Hamas Atrocities. Somebody knows what I'm talking about. It's down there. It's one of the most disgusting websites to ever go flip through, but it's where you can find people getting their heads cut off and everything. I mean, it's nuts. And I'm just telling you, make sure your stomach's empty before you go over there. Go over there. Like, get your butt in there. Go over there. Robert P. Murphy, Christian economist and theorist of nonviolent mechs, chief economist at Infine Group, actually made this comment about this live stream 5 minutes ago. He says, I've only been listening to the first 5 minutes of this so far. I'm retweeting most to bookmark it for myself, but apparently this was another Green Beret who's about to release a hit piece on Aguilar, and then had a phone call with him and realized there was more to the story. Mr. Murphy, you might have a you might be disappointed. Hold on. I have to answer that. You guys hold on while we sit here live. Mr. Murphy, I don't know. Man's got 115,000 or something like that followers, but I've got to put this statement in there. I got to troll real quick. Why is my English not good right now? All right. So, here's the deal, ladies and gentlemen. I love you guys. And somebody did say that I need to get some sleep, and I think they're right, because my brain is absolutely fried today. Absolutely fried. I need to get some rest. I got an early morning, hanging out with my boys this weekend, hanging out with my kids, got other stuff going on. That's not what I'm saying. It's not trolling. It's not. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you guys. I want to thank you for joining me for another episode. I know I had a thought that I wasn't able to finish, and I absolutely couldn't do it. Peace, love, happiness, and God bless. I'm out of here.
You texted me back